Ninda to Ananda. Namaskaram, and thank you for joining us in this very special journey where we look into somebody's life who inspires us not 1 or 2 decades later, but 256 years later. I have constantly been asked from the time this program came out as to why is this the theme of this production. To be honest, when the date for this happened, we had absolutely no idea that it was going to be this. And a few days ago, I discovered that almost a week ago, on May 4th, Tyagaraja Swami's 256th birth anniversary happened. So there is a larger sankalpam that prompted this entire exploration. When we look at Sadhguru Tyagaraja Swami's journey, the tendency is to look at very dramatic facts from there, where his idols are dropped into the river and he finds them and there is a period of despair in his life and all of this. Spoiler alert, we are not going to be covering any such aspect this evening, because the reason that we want to look beyond that is because when we look at the emotions that a composer displays, very often those emotions are connected to a lot of internal transformation. The external transformation and the external events inspire up to a point. But in the case of bhaktas, the obsession with their Lord, that is what drives their journey. And I think that is what distinguishes a bhakta from somebody who is just curious. Because if we look at Tyagaraja Swami's bhakti, it is obsessive. And I mean that in a very positive way. That obsession causes a host of emotions to come out. He carefully analyzes his Ishtadevata's story. Rama is his Ishtadevata, his pranam, his everything. And he finds loopholes in the story that actually give rise to compositions that are not at all flattering. Tyagaraja Swami makes one reference to one of the Ramayanas, where right after Rama and Sita's Kalyanam is over, they are sitting on the Unjal. And at that time, Sita asks Rama, says, if you're looking like you are glowing after this marriage. He said, I truly am, Sita, because I'm so happy to be with you. Sita, I'm so moved in this moment, ask me anything and I will grant it to you. So Sita says, give me the joy, the bhagyam of eternally being with you. Tyagaraja Swami remembers this episode and he says, Asrayinchi varamadgina Sita, she was the one who asked you for a varam, and what did she get? She got sent to the forest, not once, but twice. Then he talks about a Rakshasi, who just came and declared her love for Rama. That's all she did. And in turn, what did she get? She got her nose and her ears sliced off. So Tyagaraja Swami gives you something to think about, and he asks Rama very directly. If you think that I'm being very subtle in my narration here, he's not so subtle. In the first line of the Kriti, he says, who has ever asked you anything and actually been happy?
Adigi sukhamule varanubhavim chiriva ninnadigi sukhamule varanubhavim chiriva ninnadigi sukhamule varanubhavim chiriva ninnadigi sukhamule varanubhavim
This beautiful category of compositions, as many of you would be knowing, is called nindasuti. It's a beautiful, almost sounds like a paradox. Ninda refers to insulting, stuti refers to praise. How does one categorize this as praise? It's just ninda. But look at the words that Tyagaraja Swami uses. He says, who has ever been happy asking you for anything? Oh Adi Mulama, oh the one who is the cause for everything. There itself, Tyagaraja Swami shows that he has some larger understanding of who Rama really is. But his obsession with Rama is also a reason that he constantly comes out very unhappy with Rama. At some point, he uses a little bit of sarcasm. That unhappiness is because Rama is not responding to him. And for a bhakta, Bhagavan not responding calls for a very huge internal, it results in a massive internal flux of emotions. So in this case, he pushes him, says, Adiki Sukhamulu Evaru Anubhavinchitira. In another case, he again pulls the Ramayana, pulls one string from the Ramayana, talking about an episode, the very first time that Anjaneya Swami and Ramachandra meet. In that beautiful episode, when Anjaneya Swami appears in front of Rama and Lakshmana, Anjaneya Swami speaks to them. Rama observes Anjaneya's speech, and he looks at Lakshmana and he says, who is this person who is proficient in Rig Veda, Yajur Veda and Samaveda? Lakshmana asks him who he is. Rama does not directly speak to Anjaneya Swami. The reason for this has been interpreted that Rama is following Rajadharma. As per Rajadharma, a Raja does not directly speak to a Duta. It has to go through someone else. Now, Tyagaraja Swami takes this, ignores that little Rajadharma aspect, keeps it aside, and he says, Chaduvulanni telisi Shankaram Sudaina. Chaduvulanni telisi, the one who knew all the Shastras, Anjaneya Sarvashastra Pravartakaha. You didn't even talk to him. You asked your Tammudu, Lakshmana Swami, to talk to him. Then why will you talk to me? Leave it. But he doesn't. Instead of leaving it there, he pokes again saying, is it fair not to talk to me just because I said that? This relationship that Rama and Tyagaraja Swami share, the emotional drama here is more than what you will see on WhatsApp groups during election time. That there is chiding, there is cajoling, there is yelling, there is anything that will make this Ishtadevata respond. So there he says, Rama, is it fair not to talk to me?
ಮಾಟಲಾಡಮೋಡಿಗಲದೆ ಮಾಟಲಾಡಮೋಡಿಗಲದೆ ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಮಾಟಲಾಡಮೋಡಿಗಲದೆ ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಮಾಟಲಾಡಮೋಡಿಗಲದೆ ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಮಾಟಲಾಡಮೋಡಿಗಲದೆ ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಮಾಟಲಾಡಮೋಡಿಗಲದೆ చదువులన్నీ తెలిసి శంకరాంశుడై చదువులన్నీ తెలిసి శంకరాంశుడై చదువులన్నీ తెలిసి శంకరాంశుడై సదయుడాసుగ సంభవుడు మ్రోక చదువులన్నీ తెలిసి శంకరాంశుడై సదయుడాసుగ మ్రోక కదలుతమ్ముని 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 పలుక కదలుతమ్ముని పల్కజరితివిగాకను త్యాగ రాజు అడిన మాటలాడమడిగల కదలుతమ్ముని పల్కజరితివిగాకను త్యాగ రాజు అడిన మాటలాడమడిగల దేరామయ మాటలాడ రామయ్య
Bhakti in modern contexts has become synonymous with being seated in front of a puja room with branded agarbatis giving you a divine fragrance. But in Bhakti, if you look at the stories of several sants across the country and beyond, you will see that it is not that they lack other emotions. It is not that they are always being adoring and looking at their Ishtadevata. Whatever emotions they have, they just turn it towards their Ishtadevata. If it is anger, he turns that towards Rama. If it is sadness, if it is sarcasm, dry wit, whatever it is, turning it towards the Ishtadevata. That turning is called Bhakti. And sometimes in this margam of Bhakti, a lot of confusion can arise. Who is responsible for what is happening? Is it him or is it me? Is this my fault or is this his fault? This particular conflict that Tyagaraja Swami has brings a story to my mind where this we find in a Purana, this beautiful story where Garuda brings Vishnu to Kailasha because Shiva has decided to call for a board meeting. So Vishnu and all the other devatas come one by one. They drop their vahanas in the parking lot and Vishnu goes inside. Garuda is standing here because that's what he's supposed to do. Now meanwhile, Garuda is just, as he's standing, Yama also comes for this meeting. When Yama comes, Yama looks to his side like this and he goes off inside Kailasha. Garuda turns to see and he wonders, what is it that Yama is looking at? Then he sees a little bird over there and it's Kailasa, it's the icy cold mountain of Shankara's residence. So this bird is shivering. So Garuda feels very bad for this bird. So he decides, let me take this bird out of here and go place it in a jungle and come. So he immediately does that and Garuda Vega is, I'm not referring to the courier Garuda Vega, I'm referring to the bird, is such a massively swift Pakshi Vahana that immediately he goes, places this in some tropical forest all the way in the plains and immediately comes back to Kailasa. By this time, the meeting has concluded. All one by one, all the devatas are exiting. When Yama comes out, Yama is again looking. Now this time, Garuda looks at Yama and he says, Swami, who are you looking for? Yama says, there was a bird here, no, few minutes ago. Where did that bird go? So Garuda says, oh, that bird, I saw that bird shivering and I just took it to the forest. Before he could complete anything, Yamaraja said, aha, you took it to the forest, is it? I was actually wondering when I went inside, that bird's time had come. Because Yama knows when everybody's time has come. And Yama looked at that bird and he said, that bird should be in the middle of a forest, it's going to be eaten by a python, but it's here in Kailasha, how will it reach that forest? Now, what did Garuda do? Now take this example. Whose fault is it? It is at this moment that Narayana comes out and Garuda falls at his feet and he says, it's all my fault, I killed that bird. But at the same time, you can twist this and say, it is all his doing. In Bhakti, this is a conflict that periodically arises. Is it his fault? Is it my fault? So to explore that, we take the help of Tyagaraja Swami's beautiful composition where he says, Me valla guna doshamemi. What is the gunas and the doshas that are there? It's not because of you. It's all because of me. But if Tyagaraja Swami says that, to balance the narrative, we have another composer who says something else.
ನಾವಲ್ಲನೇ ಕಾಣಿ ನಳಿನದಳನಯನ ನೀವಲ್ಲ ಗುಣದೋಷಮೇಮಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ ನೀವಲ್ಲ ಗುಣದೋಷಮೇಮಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ ನೀವಲ್ಲ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ನಾನಲ್ಲ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ನಾನಲ್ಲ ಅಪರಾಧವೆನಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ನಾನಲ್ಲ ಅಪರಾಧವೆನಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ನಾನಲ್ಲ ಅಪರಾಧವೆನಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ನಾನಲ್ಲ ಅಪರಾಧವೆನಗಿಲ್ಲ ಕಪಟ ನಾಟಕ ಸೂತ್ರಧಾರಿ ನೀನೇ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ನಾನಲ್ಲ ಅಪರಾಧವೆನಗಿಲ್ಲ ಕಪಟ ನಾಟಕ ಸೂತ್ರಧಾರಿ ನೀನೇ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ನಿಜರಿಮ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ರಿಮ ಪನಿ ನೀವಲ್ಲ ಪನಿ ಸರಿಮ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ಸರಿಮ ಪನಿ ನೀವಲ್ಲ ಪಮಗರಿ ಸವನಿ ಸರಿಮ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ನಿಪಮಗರಿ ಸರಿಮ ಪನಿ ನೀವಲ್ಲ ನಿ ಸರಿ ಗರಿ ಸನಿ ಸಪನಿ ಮಪಮಗರಿ ಸನಿ ಸರಿಮ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ಮರಿ ಪಮನಿ ಪಸನಿ ರಿ ಸಗರಿ ಸನಿ ಪನಿ ಮಪನಿ ನೀವಲ್ಲ ನಿ ಸರಿ ಗರಿ ಪಮಗರಿ ಸರಿ ನಿ ಸಪನಿ ಮಪಗರಿ ಸನಿ ಪಮಗರಿ ಸಪನಿ ಸರಿ ಸನಿ ಸರಿ ಸರಿ ಮಪರಾಧಿ పని సరి పగారి సరి ని సబ ని మ పమగరి సని సని రి సబ ని సరి మ పని స పని సరి మ పని స పని సరి మ పని నీవల్ల నీవల్ల గుణదోషమేమి రామ రామ
Me valla gunadosham What is the guna and the dosha that is coming from you? It's all me. What prompts such compositions? What prompts such lyrics? To understand this, we have to take a little bit of help from Tyagaraja Swami's life. Tyagaraja Swami was initiated into the Rama Taraka Mantram when he was a child of 6 or 7 years of age. That is when his father initiated him into the Rama Mantram. From then on, he goes on, this mantram becomes a part of his life. And it is not something that is restricted to just a few hours or a few minutes a day. It is something that is constantly happening at the back. What a Shruti box is to a musician, what Shruti is to a musician, that mantram is to Tyagaraja Swami. But despite that much of mantra japa, there is no sign of Rama. There is not one sign to show that Rama is responding. And this can cause a lot of despair. Because in bhakti, when there is no response, when it feels like a one-way street, when it feels like there are situations happening, Tyagaraja Swami's journey was not an easy one. He had two brothers, out of whom one died because of illness at a young age. Him and his other brother were having conflict of interests, and therefore his mother, when she was still alive, split up the house into two parts. Tyagaraja Swami gave away all the wealth to his brother, and he kept the Rama Panchayatanam with him and continued to worship. He had his own family. Tyagaraja Swami's first wife died. He had a second wife, and with her he has a daughter, Sita. So his own life is not filled with roses. There are several thorny moments. And then Tyagaraja Swami does something which we don't hear of too much. He starts to compare himself to the worst kind of people possible. So in one composition, he lists out everything that he thinks is the worst kind of behavior. And he says, in this life, I have, from a very young age, I have not been attracted to you. I have not been drawn to your namam. I have wasted my youth. I have wasted my time being drawn to everything but you. What a waste. Doddu kugala nanne. Look at the worst kind of person that is existent, that is me. This is a hope from Tyagaraja Swami that maybe if I accuse myself like this, at least he will come. This anxiety grows, and if you pay attention to this composition, every charanam has Tyagaraja Swami referring to what he believes is a terrible guna, is a terrible quality. And he pulls that to himself and he says, it is all me, but it is only you who can pull me out of that, O son of Dora. Dora is Dasharatha. Tyagaraja Swami's time period is heavily influenced and impacted by his predecessors, Bhadrachal Ramdas, Purandaradasa, all of whom had Bhagavat Sakshatkaram. They saw their Ishtadevata. Purandaradasa records it, not just his own experiences of seeing Narayana, but he lists out a host of devotees and people who had that bhagyam. But Tyagaraja Swami is not experiencing it. Purandaradasa says, Yamana Dutaru Bandhu Ajamilan Elevaga. When Yama's Dutas came to pick up Ajamida's life, Narayana Vemba Namave Kaito. At that time, that Nama of Narayana rescued Ajamila. He hosts all kinds of examples like this, all citing and reinforcing the idea that Narayana does come, that the one who calls out to him is indeed blessed with his darshanam. But this doesn't happen for Tyagaraja Swami. So that despair manifests as questions. Now it is here that you see that when a question comes from Tyagaraja Swami, it is never addressed to Samajam, nor is it a chance for him to give a TED talk on good values. It is him questioning either his mind or him questioning the Lord. These are the only two things he does. He never looks outside. In one composition, he says, he tries to appease his mind. He says, I know what a Karunya Murti is. I know that Ramachandra, I trust him. I know the depth of his Karunyam. Ghanudaina Shri Ramachandruni. I know the depth. Wait, my mind, listen to me, please. In another composition, he says, Rama, is it so difficult to think of me? Brova Bharama, Anta Bharama, is it so heavy to think of this bhakta? Then he says, Rama, where can you be found? Which dari are you walking on? Question after question, either deflected at Rama or deflected at his mind. And these questions are so powerful that they make one wonder, is this Tyagaraja Swami's journey or the journey of every bhakta that is yearning to just see that Lord for 1 second? That is all he wishes. And he calls out to him at the end of these questions. He calls out saying, come, Rara, ma intidaka.
Ghanudaina Shri Ghanudaina Shri Ghanudaina Shri Ghanudaina Shri Ghanudaina Shri Ramachandra Ghanudaina Shri Ramachandra Ghanudaina Ramachandruni Karunatarangamu Telisinana Ghanudaina Shri Ramachandruni Karunatarangamu Telisinana Manavi Alakincharu Manavi Alakincharu Manavi Alakinchara Dade Manavi Alakinchara Dade Marma Millatil Vedane Manasa Manavi Alakinchara Sagari Manavi Alakinchara Sagari ma pani sani bama gari sa sagari manaviyala Gama padani sani padani bama ga sa sa gama prova barama Pama ga sa gama padani sa gama ga sani sani padani bama ga sa gama prova Gazari Gamaye Dari Sancharintura Padani Zari Gazani Dani Zani Dabama Gazari Gamaye Dari Gamani Nisa Gamagari Zani Zani Damagari Zaga Gamachera Ravade సారిగమ ఎంత వేడు కుందూరగవా సదని మద సరి గమ గరి గరి సరి సన సాదని ఎంత వేడు మ పని సని దబ మ పని సరి గ మ గ సరి గ మ గ సరి గ సని దబ సని దబ మ పని దబ మ గ స ఓర పూచు చేది న్యాయమా రి గ మ గ సరి గ మ ప ప మ గ సరి గ మ పని సని దబ ని సరి గ మ ప మ గ సరి గ మ ప మ గ సని గ సని దబ ని దబ మ ప మ గ స ఓర చూ సరి ని సబ దబ మ గ గరి సరి ని సబ సరి గ గరి సరి మ ప దబ మ ప ద స ప మ గ గరి స రమా ఇండితాక రి మ ప దబ మ ప ద స స సరి గ గరి స సరి మ రి గ గరి సరి ని సబ దరి సరి ని సబ దబ మ గ గరి సరి మ ర రమా ఇండి
Come to my house, Rama. That yearning was so strong that Rama did indeed come. One version of his Charitram tells us that when Tyagaraja Swami went to the kitchen to pick up the milk for the Naivedyam of Rama, in that moment when he was glancing through the kitchen window, for just a second he saw a massive light. And as that light took form, Tyagaraja Swami saw that darshanam of the one who is filled with golden ornaments, Bala Kanakamaya Chela, Vidruta Sharajala, the one who has arrows, the one who is standing with Rama Devi, meaning Sita Mahalakshmi, the one who is the epitome of all virtues together. Tyagaraja Swami saw him wearing a Vanamalika Bharana, and that moment was so overwhelming for him that when Tyagaraja looked to gaze, it was gone. In that one moment, everything that he saw just disappeared. No Rama, no light, nothing at all. And in this composition, he records the dhyanam that he sees and the despair in which he says, "Won't you give me your grace? Yela ni dayaradu."
Yela ni dayaradu. Balakanakamaya chela sujana padipala Shri Rama lola vidrita shara balakanakamaya పరిపాల శ్రీరమాలోల విధృత శర జాల శుభద కరుణాలవాల ఘన నీల నవ్య వనమాలికా వరణయేలని దయ రాదు పరాకు చేత వేళ సమయము కాదు దయ రాదు
For this one fleeting second of a darshanam, Tyagaraja Swami is said to have had this darshanam after he completed Ramanama Japam 960 million times. The siddhi of that was seeing Rama for that, if we can call it, a half second. And that despair continued because if you see Paramatma and then you're asked or that vision disappears, that despair is worse than not seeing him at all. And then Tyagaraja Swami wonders, where is he? Where can I see him? And that is when we start to understand Tyagaraja Swami beyond just a Vagyakara, and we understand him as somebody who is connected to a network of bhaktas. We find this particular story in one of the Jivita Charitrams of Sadhguru, which is written after he attained Samadhi. This beautiful Charitram tells us that one day Rama is seated in Santanika. Santanika is the name of Rama's lokam. Just like Vishnu has Vaikuntha, Krishna has Goloka, Devi has Manidvipa, and so on. Rama has his loka as Santanika. So in Santanika, when Rama is sitting, he also calls a conference, a trend that we have been seeing with multiple devatas. So when he calls for a conference, he tells all the other devatas who have come. He calls Shiva, he calls Hanumanta, he calls Narada Muni and others. And he says that look at the state of affairs in Bharatavarsha right now. There is either an emphasis on hyper-ritualism or there is an overemphasis on pure intellectualism. Both of these are deprived of one core element called bhakti. Because those who are in the karma kanda, they are going on and on with rituals, but they're unable to understand what these rituals mean. Those who are in the intellectual space alone are engaging with Paramatma only from here, not from here. So, one of you needs to go to be able to join these margas together. Which one of you will go? So he looks at Shiva first. Shiva says, don't look at me. I went as Shankaracharya already. I went once and I set everything right and then left. I'm not saying that statement politically. So I'm not going again. Then Rama looks at Hanuman. Hanuman says, hey, I also went right after him. I went as Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya is considered to be the incarnation of Anjaneya Swami. He says, I also went and I also did what I could. I gave so much and I came back. Then Rama looks at Narada and he says, what about you? He says, Rama, you can't ask me like that. I took your katha and I took it and I put it onto everybody's lips in the most saral bhasha because I went as Tulsidas. Then Rama looks at Shuka Marshi, Shuka who gave us the immortal Bhagavatam. And Shuka says, I also went as Kabir and I taught people the path of love. So I can't go. In all this conference, there's one person who is very unwillingly participating in this conference in a quiet corner. He's looking like this saying, please don't look at me, please don't look at me. And sure enough, Rama looks exactly at him and he says, oh Valmiki, oh son of Prachetas, why don't you go? He says, Rama, I don't want to go. Because if I have to go, I have to leave you. And I don't want that for myself. Because I already was there once. I gave the Adikavyam. I gave your katha to everybody. Why should I go again? And then Rama says, Valmiki, you only have to go for a period of 80 years. I will come during that time and I will give you darshanam. And I think it's fitting to pay a homage to that Adikavi because of whom we have so much of Vangmayam, so much of literature, one central story which comes from that one source, which manifests in so many different ways. Valmiki Giri Sambhuta, if Valmiki himself is a mountain, Valmiki Giri Sambhuta, Rama Sagara Gamini. The ocean of Rama begins from there. Punatu Bhuvanam Punya Ramayana Mahanadi. That Mahanadi takes over the world with all its twists and turns. So Valmiki is then sent down to come here and to look and to teach people the path of bhakti, which is the beautiful amalgamation, be it of shastram and ritual or be it of adhyatmikata. And when that Valmiki appears, we see hints of him in Tyagaraja Swami, where he asks questions saying, where are you? Where are you present in a stable form? Where is your Nilakada? When I see Sita, when I see Gauri, when I see Vagishwari, I see you. Or are you there as Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara? Or are you there on the lotus, that is this Bhu, that is the earth? Are you in the Panchamahabhutas? Where are you, O Rama, Yeta O Nara? I think at this point, I really want to say that when we were putting together all of this and Yeta Unara came into the flow of sequences, Srivathsan had this beautiful idea of saying each part of it and then tying it back to the Pallavi, because the meaning becomes that much more enhanced. Because after every few words, if you come back to Yeta Unara, the question has that much more meaning. So kudos for bringing that out so beautifully. Tyagaraja Kararchita, the one who is worshipped by Tyagaraja's hands. Tyagaraja, his heart, his hands are worshipping this Rama. But we can quickly go ahead in the story and talk about how he does have Rama Sakshatkaram so many more times in his life after that. But why this obsession with Rama? What is so special? Just 3 aksharas, Ra, A, Ma. And it is not Tyagaraja Swami alone. Whether it is Valmiki, whether it is Tulsidas, whether it is Guha, whether it is Shabari, whether it is any of the bhaktas who come in contact with this form of Paramatma, they just don't want to let go. Whether it is Bhadrachala Ramadas, he makes his abode there on the hill temple of Bhadrachala Rama, Bhadradri Rama, and resides there as a bhakta. Tyagaraja Swami takes his heart as his temple and resides by Kaveri Tiravasam. What is it about these 3 aksharas? Why is it so magical? Why is it so magnetic? If you think about it, everything to do with our life is to do with these 3 aksharas. Rama, for Tyagaraja Swami, or for any bhakta that matter, is not just a vigraha. He is a beautiful vigraha. He gives that swarupam. As you can see in the beautiful idols here, there it is not an idol, it is Rama. He is as much in Saguna Sakaram in that form as he is also somewhere else. If you take it, the 3 aksharas of Rama, the 3 syllables that make up the word Rama are Ra, A and Ma. Now just look at the universe that we live in. Largely, light, heat and water come to us from 3 sources. 1, the sun. 2nd, agony. And the 3rd, water, comes because of Chandra's effect on tides. These three are influencing life on earth in absolutely unparalleled ways. Now, if you look at various texts, they talk about how the akshara or the concept of agni, agni is represented in the akshara ra. Wherever the word ra is used, it is indicative of agni. Agnir me vachishhritaha. Okay, so agni is represented through the akshara ra. I periodically like to give this example just to build context. Muthuswami Dikshitar also knows this rahasyam of Ra, and when he talks about Narasimha, who is an Agni Devata, he uses the word Ra very, very powerfully. Murahara, Nagadhara, Sarasija, Kara, Parama, Purusha, Pavanaja, Shubhakara, Suruchira, Karagiri, Varada, Vichara, Sarasa, Guruguha, Hridaya, Sahachara, Narasimha. So you can see that Rakaram, that is representative of the Agni Tattvam. Akaram is representative of Surya Tattvam, and Makaram is representative of Chandra Tattvam. So Ra, A, Ma are referring to the one who is controlling Surya, Chandra and Agni. And who is that one? Let's take help from the Bhagavad Gita. Swami himself tells Arjuna, Yad Aditya Gatam Tejaha, Jagat Bhasayate Akhilam. Whatever light is coming from Aditya, from the sun, know that to be mine. Yad Aditya Gatam Tejaha, Jagat Bhasayate Akhilam. Yat Chandramasi Yat Chagnau, Tat Tejo Vidhimamakam. What is coming in from Aditya, what is coming from Agni, the heat from Agni, and all the water that is resulting as because of the effect of high tides and low tides that is coming because of Amavasya and Purnima, know that I am that one singular source for all of them. That one singular source is Ra-ama, Rama. That is one idea around the name Rama. That is why it fascinates some. For others, it fascinates them because Rama is not just about that external. It's about that happening inside here. In the human body, Agni is believed to be seated on the tongue. Agnir me vachishritaha. Surya is believed to be the deity who controls eyesight. Chaksho suryo ajayate. Chandra controls the mind. Chandrama manaso jataha. So, the one that is responsible for our speech, for all our, not just our eyesight, but all our indriyas working, and the one who is responsible for our mind working. Effectively, our life is only based on these three things. What we say, what we think, and what we do. The one that is regulating this within all of us is Ra-a-ma, Rama. The one who is regulating these three karanas. That is Rama. Rama is no longer a person for these people. And finally, Tyagaraja Swami himself gives this example, which we have touched upon earlier, but because it is so beautifully cited in one of his compositions, we will take help from there. If you take the words Rama, one way of looking at it is splitting it as Ra-a-ma. In the other way, you can just split it as Rakaram and Makaram, Ra and Ma. If you take two Maha Mantrams that we are blessed with, one is the Panchakshari Mantram. In the Panchakshari Mantram, it is on any mantram, there is something called a Jiva Swaram. That Jiva Swaram or the Jiva Aksharam is that Aksharam. If you remove that Aksharam, the mantra will give you the reverse meaning. So let us take the example of the Ashtakshari. Ashtakshari is Namo Narayanaya. Now, in the Ashtakshari, if you take away Rakaram, you get the opposite meaning. Namo Narayanaya becomes Namo Na Ayanaya, which is the Vipritartha, which means my salutations to one who has no direction. Namo Narayanaya means my salutations to the one who is the direction for all living beings. So Rakaram is the Jiva Aksharam there. Come to the Panchakshari, Namah Shivaya, 5 syllables. Take away Makaram. Namah Shivaya means salutations to that which is auspicious. Namah Shivaya, Shiva is auspiciousness. Take away Makaram, Na Shivaya. There is no auspiciousness. It becomes the opposite meaning, no? So, from Ashtakshari you take Rakaram, from Panchakshari you take Makaram, put them together, you have Rama, Rama. That is the power of that name. That name fascinated not just Tyagaraja Swami, fascinated a host of Vagyakaras who are in love with that Rama who is there as Sitapati externally and the Rama that is guiding the Trikaranas internally. So that journey of Rama moves for Tyagaraja Swami and others from an external one into an internal one.
Re re ga ma pa ma ga ma ri sa re re ga ma pa ma ga ma ri sa ni pa ri sa ni ga ma re pa ma pa da pa ma pa ga ma ri ni ga ma pa da pa pa re ga ma pa ma da pa sa ni ba ri ba ma ri ga ma da ba ri sa ri ga ma ri sa ma ga ma ri sa ni ba sa ni ba ri sa ni ba ma ri sa delisi Rama Chintanato Namamu Delisi Rama Chintanato Namamu Delisi Rama చింతనతో నామము సేయవే ఓ మనసాగా తెలిసి రామ చింతనతో నామము సేయవే ఓ మనసాగా తెలిసి రామ పదబస పరిసని బమగ మరి సరి గమ ద పరిసని బమరి గమ పదబస పరిసని బమగ మరి సరి గమ ద పరిసని బమరి గమ పదబరి గమ బమ గమ రి సని బరి రి స సని బమ మరి రి గమ పదబరి గమ బమ గమ రి సని బరి రి స పదబస దరి సని ద బమ గరి ద సరి గ పదబస దరి సని ద బమ గరి ద సరి గ రి గమ ద పదబస దరి సని ద బమ గరి ద సరి గ పమ ద బమ గమ రి గమ పదబరి ద సరి గరి సని ద బమ గమ ద స దరి సని ద బమ గరి ద సరి గ రి గమ ద స మ ద సరి సని ద బమ గరి ద సరి గ గరి గమ ద స మ ద సరి సని ద బమ గరి ద సరి గ గరి గమ ద గమ ద స సని ద బమ గరి ద సరి గమ పద బస సరి గమ పద బస రి గమ పద బస గమ పద బస మ పద బస పద బస ద బస పస స ఓ రామని నామం ఎంత రుచిరా ఓ రామ నీ నామం ఎంత రుచిరా ఓ రామ నీ నామం ఎంత రుచిరా శ్రీరామ నీ నామం ఏమి రుచిరా ఓ రామ నీ నామం ఎంత రుచిరా శ్రీరామ నీ నామం ఏమి రుచిరా ఓ రామ నీ నామం ఎంత రుచి ఎంత రుచి ఎంత రుచి ద పమ గమ గరి దని ద సరి గ ద పమ గమ గరి సరి ద సరి గ ని ద పమ గరి సరి గమ దరి స ద పమ గమ గరి సరి ద సరి గ ని ద పమ గరి సరి గమ దరి స గరి సని ద పమ గమ పరి స గ గరి సని ద పమ గమ పరి స గ ని ద పమ గమ గరి స గమ పమ గరి సని ద పమ గమ పరి స గ ని ద పమ గమ గరి స గమ పని సా ని ద పమ గమ ద పమ గమ గరి స పని స ని పని స గ పని స రామ రతన్ धन पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो वस्तु अमूलिक दी मेरा सतगुरु वस्तु अमूलिक दी मेरा सतगुरु कृपा कर अपनायो पायो जी मैंने कृपा कर अपनायो पायो जी मैंने कृपा कर अपनायो पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो मीरा के प्रभु मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर हर्ष हर्ष जस गायो पायो जी मैंने हर्ष हर्ष जस गायो पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो रतन धन पायो रतन धन पायो
aksharas, Ra and Ma, becomes the Ratna for a bhakta. One bhakta says, Ikshvaku Vamsharnava Jata Ratnam, the Ratnam that was found in the house of Ikshvakus, Ikshvaku Vamsharnava Jata Ratnam, that Ratnam was picked up by Sita, and that gem brought her great luck. Sitangana Ajivana Saubhagya Ratnam. Ajivanam, for her entire life, that Ratnam was by her side. Where is that Ratnam? Vaikuntha Ratnam, that's where it originated from. Vaikuntha Ratnam. But it's not restricted to Vaikuntha or Ayodhya or Mithila or any of these places. As you just saw, it is here in this body. Vaikuntha Ratnam, Mama Bhagya Ratnam. It is my bhagyam to be able to say that name of Rama Ratnam. Vaikuntha Ratnam, Mama Bhagya Ratnam, Shri Rama Ratnam, Shirasa Namami. That Ratnam of Rama is so powerful. That is why Ishvara tells Parvati, Shri Rama Rama Rameti. Rama has 3, as you saw. And he says, say this name 3 times. 3 into 3 is 9. 9 is the Purna Sankhya. We can go on talking about the power of Rama Namam. If you look in the human body, even in terms of Kundalini, the first space or the chakras that come from the Mooladhara onwards are called the Agni Mandalam, referring to Ra. The next are called the Surya Mandalam, referring to A. And then comes the Chandra Mandalam, which is in the Sahasrara Chakram, referring to Ma. So every time you say Rama, there is an activation of that Kundalini space if you do it with awareness. That is the terms and clause, the terms and condition that applies. That is why Tyagaraja Swami said, Telisi Rama Chintanato Namamu Seyave. Know what the meaning of this name is and then do it. Because when you do it with that awareness, it gives rise to an unparalleled feeling. And Tyagaraja Swami did not do it once or twice, as we said. He did it over 960 million times. So now, we invite you to join us into, if you feel comfortable, we invite you to close your eyes and stay with this feeling of identifying that Rama is no longer just an external character who belongs to a kavyam, to the Adi Kavyam. He is that, but he is also here. He is the one that is sustaining life. And Tyagaraja Swami experiences Rama in all that bliss, all that glory. And for that, we invite you to either close your eyes or you can look towards Rama here on the stage. The hope is that you identify with the bhavams that Tyagaraja Swami had. Just 2 words, like Rama has 2 aksharas, Tyagaraja Swami took just 2 words and poured all his love, all his discovery of finding Rama into those 2 words. The one who is the heart of the Panchakshari Mantram and the Ashtakshari Mantram is truly the source of my life. The one who is Nada Parabrahma, pure sound, is manifest in this body as my Adhara. The one who is moving inside this body as the raised Kundalini with Ida and Pingala on either sides. The one who is controlling my speech, my mind and my actions, manasa, vacha and karmana. He is the source of my life. Not just now in this birth, but every time I have come here and taken a body, he has been my constant Adhara. So fortunate am I to see that, to feel that, and to experience the Adhara Shakti for my Jivana walking by my side. Sita, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna, Hanumanta, Guha, Shabari, how many people he stood by, and now he stands by me. I know this not to be a text truth, but to be my own experience, that he is eternally na jivadhara. To know this, to recognize this must be the fruit of some janma, some nomu and some phalam, because he is truly na jivadhara. Two words, na jivadhara. How many sangatis, how many different ways of singing the same thing? Why? Is it that he ran out of words? He is a Vagyakara. Is he at a shortage of words? But how much he communicates as the sangatis grow. And we are only interpolating. We are only imagining what he must have felt. But for him to take two words and write an entire composition, and this composition is not an ordinary one. There are stories that are accredited to this composition. It is said that he brought somebody back to life by singing this. But rather than just quickly, dwelling on some miracles and throwing confetti of magic into the air, to focus on the bhavam with which this composition came. Because if you see the charanam of this composition, he says, you are the one that is present as sight, that is enabling me to see. You are my nasika's parimala. You are the one that is allowing me to smell aromas. You are the japa varna. Here is what distinguishes Tyagaraja Swami. You na japa varna ma, he says. What does this word mean, japa varna ma? When somebody constantly chants something, when there is a japa that happens for a bhakta, knowingly or unknowingly, that japam takes a form. That form takes a color. This can only be seen by a siddha, by somebody who has attained mantra siddhi. Tyagaraja Swami himself is saying, na japa varnama. You are the color, the form of my japa. How does he know that unless he sees it himself? This is when, Tyagaraja Swami's mantra has attained siddhi. That is the way in which his compositions need to be looked at, that there is so much layering and packaging that happens that we can quickly go past it. But to spend a few minutes and to acknowledge that here onwards, the journey of Tyagaraja Swami, from Ninda, we move now to a space where he feels ready, where he thinks and he expresses saying, oh husband of Sita Mahalakshmi, I'm ready, I'm waiting for you now to tell me and divulge all the secrets of the universe. This is when you know that sadhana has reached a point where the bhakta can take what Bhagavan has to offer. In the Gita, if you see the Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga, when Paramatma is about to show Arjuna the Vishwarupam, in that moment, when he shows it to him, Arjuna says, I cannot take this. Please calm down and come back to your regular Swarupam. This is too much for me. Because even in bhakti, there is a readiness that has to happen from the part of the bhakta. And when that readiness happens for the bhakta, then the bhakta will say that I am truly ready. Now this is one aspect of Tyagaraja Swami's magic. But these exact words that he uses, it cannot be a coincidence that another bhakta picks up this as a case study. Like how Tyagaraja Swami would have possibly looked at Purandaradasa or Bhadrachala Ramdas as his own case studies potentially, another bhakta looks at the words that Tyagaraja Swami says, and Tyagaraja Swami in this composition is saying, I'm ready. But this bhakta is saying, who else is there to think of me but you? Aren't you going to come? And this is interesting because we can see Tyagaraja Swami becoming an inspiration for so many other people. Tyagaraja Swami's confidence is mirrored by another bhakta's doubt and another bhakta's plea.
నిన్ను విన్నా రఘువరా నన్ను బ్రోచేవా రెవరురా నిన్ను విన్నా రఘువరా నన్ను బ్రోచేవా రెవరురా నిన్ను విన్నా రఘువరా నన్ను బ్రోచేవా రెవరురా నిన్ను వినా రఘువరా నీ చరణ భుజమునే విడజాల కరుణాల వాల బ్రోచేవా రెవరురా నిన్ను వినా రఘువరా సీతాపతే నాపై నీకభిమానములేదా సీతాపతే నాపై నీకభిమానములేదా సీతాపతే నాపై నీకభిమానములేదా సీతాపతి నా మనసున సీతాపతి నా మనసున సీతాపతి నా మనసున సీతాపతి నా మనసున సిద్ధాంతమని నానురా సీతాపతి.
This bhakta is ready, Tyagaraja Swami. But the other bhakta is saying, I have heard that you came to protect that elephant king, Gajendra. Tyagaraja Swami talks about what Prahlada speaks about. Prahlada says, Bhaktya tutosha Bhagavan Gajayothapaya. That bhakti alone is what brought the Lord down to save Gajendra. Tyagaraja is influenced by that. And Mysore Vasudevacharya also says, Aturamukha Karirajuni Brochina. Kariraja is Gajendra, saying, aren't you the one who blessed Gajendra? Then don't leave my hand, O Ramachandra. Hold it firmly and pick me up.
ఆతురముగా కరిరాజుని బ్రోచిన వాసుదేవుడే నీవు గదా ఆతురముగా కరిరాజుని బ్రోచిన వాసుదేవుడే నీవు గదా ఆతురముగా కరిరాజుని బ్రోచిన వాసుదేవుడే నీవు గదా నా పాదకమెల్ల పోగొట్టి గట్టిగనా చేపట్టి విడువక పాదకమెల్ల పోగొట్టి గట్టిగనా చేపట్టి విడువక సనిద బదని సని నిద దమ బమ గమ పద నిద నిద బమ నిద బమ గమ పదమ గరి సమ గమ పదమ పదని సరి నిని సద దదని పదమ పదని నిద బమ గమ నిద ని పదమ పదని సమా గరి సరి సనిద బస నిద బమ గమ పదని నిన్ను వినా రఘువరా
Tyagaraja Swami says, Sitapati, I'm ready. Siddhantamu Nanura, I'm ready. Teach me. When does a bhakta say this to Bhagavan? Imagine the visual of this. Rama is seated in his darbar with Sita on his left lap, with Bharata, Lakshmana, Shatrughna and all the Divya Parivaram in attendance. And it is at that moment, if you feel ready to receive from him, it is when he is holding court, because that is when he sees bhaktas. And in that moment, if you're feeling ready to him, you will be at his feet, no? That is why Tyagaraja Swami also talks about Banturiti Koluviyavaya. Won't you give me the bhagyam of being your dasa? But that bhavam is so strong that here it is not Bhagavan, it is not Rama who is external at all. It is not only about Rama being internal. Now for Tyagaraja Swami, Rama is a parent. And when Rama is a parent, when Sita is a mother and Rama is the father, anything is acceptable. Because then the license, one can often wonder, what is the license that he takes to be able to accuse Rama, to say, Adagi Sukhamulu Evaru Anubhavinchitira? What gives him that liberty? The answer is here. The fact that he is able to say that Sita is my mother, Rama is my father. Now take this bhavam. It is not Tyagaraja Swami alone. Every time a bhakta comes in such close contact with their Ishtadevata, they're able to see them as their own parents. There is absolutely no fear, no hesitation or no worry about repercussion. If we had to write nindastutis, we would write them but probably hide them under the bed wondering, okay, if this goes out, then do you think next month my promotion won't come through? That hidden angle comes of what if he does that? But when a parent is there, you trust a parent's intentions so much that you don't even doubt them for a second. That is one aspect. Second is, when a parent is by your side and when you have accepted that Jagannatha and Jagatpita are your parents, then everybody in this universe is also related to you because everybody is their creation. So in this one act of accepting Sita and Rama may change. They may become Rukmini and Krishna, they may become Shiva and Parvati, they become any form that speaks to you. But what remains constant is Bandhava Shiva Bhaktascha Swadesho Bhuvanatrayam. Then the entire universe is all filled with your bandhus only.
Mata cha Parvati Devi Pita Devu Maheshwara Bandhavaha Shiva Bhaktascha Swadesho Bhuvanatrayam Swadesho Bhuvanatrayam Swadesho Bhuvanatrayam Sitam Mayam Sitam Mayam Sitam Mayam Sitam Mayam Sitam Mayam Shri Ramudu Matande Sitam Mayam Shri Ramudu Matande Sitam Mayam राणी आई माझी विठ्ठल रखुमाई माझी विठ्ठल रखुमाई माझी विठ्ठल रखुमाई ही माझे माहेर पंढरी आहे भिवरेच्या तिरी माझे माहेर पंढरी आहे भिवरेच्या तिरी आहे भिवरेच्या तिरी आहे भिवरेच्या तिरी.
माता च पार्वती देवी पिता देवो महेश्वरः सीतम्म मायम्म श्रीरामुडु मातंड्री बाप आणि आये विठ्ठला रकुमाई. That my parents, only their names are changing, only their forms are changing, but in Tattvam they are remaining the same. If any of you are wondering how come Vitthala and Rakumai came here, perhaps it's because last year they manifested here so powerfully in all your hearts that today they decided they would make a re-entry into the stage. That closeness, that proximity with Bhagavan cannot bring anything but bliss. Because in that state, the external world, the internal world, these are all technical terms. They don't have that weightage anymore. In that space, there is pure bliss. There is a recognition that the one that is bringing me joy is also the one that is bringing every creature joy, in whatever sense joy means to that creature. And Tyagaraja Swami, his compositions are on one hand about his anubhavam, his own experiences. They are on one hand also about Shastra Jnanam. Because Tyagaraja Swami, when he has to explain or he has to showcase how Ramanamam touches him, he takes help from so many Shastrams. One that he takes help, one Upanishad that he takes help from is Sarataropanishad. Sarataropanishad is an Upanishad that is to do with the Yajurvedam. There, the meaning of Rama is explained. And there it is said that Rama means pure joy, pure bliss. And Tyagaraja Swami brings that out so beautifully, where he takes this meaning of Rama, the fact that he is Ananda Swarupa, and he writes a composition on him. And this composition is so powerful that if you first of all split it and take all the names, this composition has only names of Ramachandra. Not one, not two, not three, but 108 names of Ramachandra are in this composition. But Tyagaraja Swami is a Vagyakara just like that or what? 108 names of Rama, Rama is not there in that. That is his Mahima, that he's taking the meaning of Rama and saying all these 108 qualities are representing who he is. That is what comes out in the Vishnu Sahasranamam as Yani Namani Gaunani Vikhyatani Mahatmanaha. These names that have so much of meaning behind them. This is what is coming out here. And in this composition, Tyagaraja Swami brings out the Ananda Tattvam of Rama, that when he thinks of Rama, there is joy in his heart. And now let's not forget that Tyagaraja Swami belongs to the universe, to the Jagat. And if there is Jagam and there is Anandam, who is causing that Anandam?
Jagadanandakaraka 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 mari sa ma ma pa pa ma ma pa ma mari sa mari sa sa ni pa pa ma ma pa sa sa ni ni sa ni ni sa ni ba sa ni pa ma ni pa mari sa pa pa sa sa ni pa mari sa ni pa ma Jagdananda Amaratara Nichaya Kundahita Paripurna Anagha Sura Sura Bhujara Dipayo Nivasa Harana Sundara Daravadana Sudha Mayavajo Brunda Govinda Sanandama Parajarapya Subhakara Anika Jagadananda Sappamadi Sapamari Sapamaga Mapani Baga Mapamari Pamari Nipamari Sani Pamari Risa Pasama Pari Gamapa Sani Pama Jagadananda Karaka Srishtistityanta Karaka Mita Kamita Balada Samana Gatra Sashi Patisuta Imataga Anuraga Raga Rajita Kata Sarahita Jagadananda Baba Sazani Bani Sani Bamari Sazari Sani Sazani Baba Sazani Bani Sani Bamari Ni Bamari Sani Bamari Saza Pasani Bamari Saza Papa Bani Sari Gamariga Mabani Baza Sani Baza Mamari Sari Nisa Bani Mabamaga Majaga Dananda Karaka Om Kara Pancharagira Puragara Saroja Bhavakeshava Om Kara Pancharagira Puragara Saroja Bhavakeshava Nirupava Savari Pujana Kanta Kagaladara Kaladarapta Grinaka Sharanagara Jana Balana Sumano Ramana Nirvikara Nigamadara Jagadananda Papani Papani Papa Mapani Pani Papa Mama Pamani Pama Sani Pama Pama Gama Pamari Sabamari Nipamari Sani Pamari Sapama Pasari Sabari Sari Samari Sabamari Nipapa Sani Pari Sani Pama Jagadananda Karaka Aganita Guna Gana Kachela Sara Vidalana Guna Pasamana Charana Apara Mahima Buddha Sukha Vijan Ritsadan Suramuni Gana Vita Kalasani Kaniti Jaramana Papagal Simha Tyagaraja Dinuta Jagadananda Karaka Jaya Janaki Nayaka Jagadananda Karaka Nipamagama Jagadananda Karaka Risama Risani Parisani Pama Jagadananda Pamari Sari Gama Pani Basani Pani Sazani Pama Gama Pani Sari Gamari Mama Disani Sani Sazani Pani Baba Mama Disani Risani Pama Sada Sakala Jagadananda Karaka Sada Sakala Jagadananda Karaka Sapamari Sani Papa Magama Pani Pama Pasani Pani Bazaza Ni Pani Samari Samamari Sari Samamari Sati Sadani Pani Pa Anika Jagadananda Karaka Pani Pasani Pani Sari Sa Ni Pama Pani Sari Gamari Sari Gamari Chatti Rigama Pani Sani Pani Rigama Pani Sa jagadaananda karaka Bani bama bani bama ni baba mari zani dari gama pa baba bani mama ma ba gama ga ba mani ba zani ba mani ba mari zani dari gama pa baba ni bani ba mama ba ma ba ma ga gama ga mari ni dari gama pa pani bama ni bama bama ga bama gama pani bama ri zani zari gama pa pani bama bama ri zani zari gama pa baba ni bama bama gama ri sa 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 pani ni bama pani ma pa mani bani ma pa ga ma bani pa va sa ni pa ma ri sa ni pa pa ma ma ri sa sa pa mani ni pa ma bani pa ma pa ni pa ma ri sa ni sa ri ga ma pa ma ri sa ri ga ma pa ma ri sa ri ga ma pa ni pa ma ri sa ri ga ma pa pa ni pa ma pa ni pa ni pa ma pa ni pa ni pa ma pa ni pa ma pa ni pa ma ni pa ma ga ma ri sa sa ri sa ni sa ri sa sa ri ri sa pa ma ri sa sa ri pa ma ri sa sa ni pa ma ri sa sa ri ga ma ri sa pa ma pa ni pa ma pa ni pa ma pa ni ga ma pa ni ri ga ma pa ni pa ma ga ma pa ni pa ni ni sa ni pa ma ga ma pa ni pani sa 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 ri sa ni sa sa ri ri sa ni sa ri sa ni sa ri ga ma ri sa ni sa pa ma ga ma ri sa ni sa ri ga ma ri sa ni pa sa ni pa ni pa ri sa ni pa ma ga ma ni pa sa ni ri sa ma ma ri sa ni sa ri ga ma pa ma ga ma ri sa ni pa ma pa ni ri sa ri ga ma ri sa ti ri ga ma pa ni sa ni pa ni ri ga ma pa ni sa ni pa ma ga pa ma ni pa sa ni ri sa ri ga ma ri sa ni pa ma pa ni sa ri ga ma ri sa pa ni sa ni pa ri ga ma ri ga ma ri sa pa ni sa ni pa ri ga ma ri sa pa ni sa ni pa ri ga ma ri sa ga ma ri sa ni pa ma sa da sa ga da ri ga ma ri sa pa ni sa ni pa ri ga ma ri sa pa ni sa ni pa ri ga ma ri sa pa ni sa ni pa ri ga ma ri sa ni sa ri ga ma pa ma ga ma pa ni pa ma pa ki la ri ga ma ri sa pa ni sa ni pa ri ga ma ri sa pa ni sa ni pa ri ga ma ri sa pa ni sa ni pa ri ga ma ri sa ma ri sa ni pa ri sa ni pa ma Tyagaraja Ninda jagadaananda karaka jaya janaki nayaka jagadaananda
Rama Tattvam hidden so beautifully inside this. Sada Sakala Jagadanandakaraka, one who is eternally victorious. What is the easiest way of saying this, which we all write at the top of our papers? Sri Rama Jayam. You can take each of the complicated phrases that Tyagaraja Swami uses in this composition and find various Rama Namams embedded into this. That is what gave him the Rama Mantra Siddhi, of course, but that eternal desire to experience that bliss is what enabled so many such compositions. Strictly speaking, the journey of Ninda began with Adagi Sukhamu, and the journey came to Ananda here with Jagadananda Karaka. It could end here, but Tyagaraja Swami won't let us go if it ends here, because he didn't just leave it to him. He didn't just say Jagadananda Karaka. What is the next word that he said? Jaya Janaki Prananayaka. When I asked my extremely talented sculptor friend Sri Yatin Nagesh, who sculpted these beautiful idols of Ramachandra, I asked him to only bring the idol of Rama, but he brought the entire family. Now I understand why, because Tyagaraja Swami attributed Jagadananda Karaka to him, but said Janaki Prananayaka, that's why you became Jagadananda Karaka, because you are dear to her. So without her, there is no possibility of us leaving. And it is her grace that enabled Tyagaraja Swami on countless occasions to have Rama Darshanam. And Rama Darshanam is not just physically seeing Rama, it is experiencing Rama. Because once one experiences that bhavam of Rama, the feeling of going over this endless ocean of tides, of miseries, all this, that fear is gone. Harana bhava bhaya darunam. That fear is completely gone. Gone because of whom? Ramachandra. Gone because of Sri Ramachandra. So I think it's only fitting that we conclude with an ode to Sita, Rama, Valmiki, Tulsidas, so many composers, so many children of Sita and Rama who have inspired this journey, and we offer this to their feet.
I know Vinay has been doing the talking, I've been doing the singing. So I thought for the last part, I'll do some talking, maybe make you all sing. So for this song, you will need your torchlight. Can we all get your phones out and turn on the torchlight? Okay, great. Yeah, can we see more? Awesome. Those on stage also, you can. All right. So when I move it to my right, you say, Shri Ram.
Aha.
Shri Ram. Shri Ram. Shri Ram. Okay. You all got this immediately. So,
hey, everybody has phone. Take out. We know. We can see many of you are not taking it. Take it out.
More phones. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. One more time. Shri Ram. Shri Ram. By yourself.
Aha.
One more time. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam. Shri Ram, Shri Ram. कंदर्प अगणित अमित चवि नवनील नीरद सुंदरम. कंदर्प अगणित अमित चवि नवनील नीरद सुंदरम. पटपीतमानहु तडित रुचि शुचि नौमि जनक सुतावरम. पटपीतमानहु तडित रुचि शुचि नौमि जनक सुतावरम. श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भजम Thank you so much. Thank you. So we'd like to thank the entire BIC team for this wonderful space and all their support today. They put up with some very last minute demands from myself and Vinay with the lights and everything. So thank you so much, the sounds, lights, and the BIC team. BB and team on the cameras, big hand to them. Big thanks to MadRasana. They always push us to think out of the box, and we really had fun, I think.
Absolutely.
Putting this together. Thanks to our wonderful artists on stage, Visvesh Chandrasekhar on the violin, Anur Vinod Shyam on the mridangam,
Srivathsan on the vocal,
and Vinay with his wonderful storytelling. And thank you all for singing along. Big hand to you as well. Thank you.
If it is okay, if we can take a few questions, we have about 5 minutes, and we know that BIC is an audience that likes to keep us on the hot seat. So if there are, we can take a few questions. And also, we would like you all to stay for a picture, because as artists, there is a lot of joy in seeing this kind of reception for our work. It's not about quantity over quality. It's just about the kind of energy that comes from three sides for us today, and we want to acknowledge that and frame that for a picture and also put it on our Instagram. So we will take a picture with all of you from the camera behind us. But we'll do that in a minute. If there are any questions, we are happy to, or thoughts or reflections, we are happy to take them. Yes, sir. Beautiful. I think that question is better answered by Sri.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we did not make that choice. Tyagaraja had already made that choice. So our work was cut out really. So there are places like, for example, the Eta Unara, where if you take the Sangadi construction, so he's asking for what's the place that you are in. And automatically in the Kriti itself, it's Nilakada, then Nilakada next note, Nilakada. So he's demonstrating the emotion within the raga. So we didn't have to do anything really.
But I said, my question was the raga itself and the emotion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is definitely a part. So, the lyric is not standalone. So the choice of the ragams definitely plays a role. And there are two distinct emotions there. One is the musical one and then the lyrical one. More often than not in the works of the great composers, we see these coming together.
And I think you can
Thank you for that question.
You can look at so many ragams and also decipher beyond the literal rasa, because I don't think ragas get confined to literal, okay, this ragam is for this rasam. Take a ragam like Bilahari, in which we presented Na Jiva Dhara. Take the meaning of the word Bilahari. Bila refers to cave. Hari refers to the one inside a cave. This idea of Bilahari refers to the yogic idea of Uchvasa and Nishvasa, the one that is making us breathe in and breathe out. The fact that he put Na Jiva Dhara, the one responsible for my life, in a ragam called Bilahari suggests how much of parallel lateral thinking is happening in Sadhguru Tyagaraja Swami's head. So I hope that answers that question.
Namaskaram. I have two questions actually. The first one is about the Nindastuti and the spectrum of Nindastuti.
Sure.
Like when we talk about Nindastuti, the other composition of Sant Tukaram that came to my mind is Pandaricha Bhuta Mote,
right,
where there is a clear layer where he is not at all criticizing, but it's a poetic tool.
Absolutely.
But when we talk about Tyagaraja, it's a sway of emotion where he's criticizing and yet he knows that he is Rama is Paramatma. Do we have a composition of Saint Tyagaraja where it's the other way around, where he knows, yet he uses it as a poetic tool? Or
Interesting question. So I think Nindastuti itself is a spectrum of emotions. For some, the Ninda comes out very directly. In Pandharicha Bhuta Mothe, it's more of a poetic expression that, he builds it up as a great storyteller, a climax. He says, there's a Bhuta in Pandharpur, don't go to this Pandharpur. And finally he says, Tuka went there and he didn't have Janma again. Puna Janma nahe. So there he reveals it. So I personally wouldn't know if that would come into a Nindastuti, although it is almost always categorized into Nindastutis. But with Tyagaraja Swami, you can see it even in the choice of his lyrics. The fact that he says, Adagi Sukhamu Evaru Anubhavinchitra, why does he put that word Adimulama? That word Adimulama is suggesting that he has some awareness that everything is coming from Rama. You take a composition in Varali like Ne Pagadukunte, where he says, if I don't praise you, what's the big deal? Bharata, Lakshmana, Shatrughna, Sita, Ajambavan, all these people are there, no? They'll praise you. But oh, one who is worshipped by Tyagaraja, please listen. Okay, but I won't praise you. What's the big deal? So it comes out as a touch and go that you can see in several of his Nindastutis.
Sorry, the other question was because you were singing the Meera's composition, where she was she put in the word of how her guru gave her the namam or the namasmarana. So, what is Tyagaraja's or Saint Tyagaraja's relationship with his guru and this?
So we know that Tyagaraja Swami was initiated into his mantram, into the mantra siddhi, in the Rama Taraka mantram. The Rama Taraka mantram, we don't know what that Taraka mantram is. It is said that it was a Shadakshara Taraka mantram that he received from his father. He also received music from Sonti Venkatramanaya. So that is in terms of his musical lineage and his relationship. But Tyagaraja Swami's craving for a guru comes out. When he, in compositions like Guru Leka Ettavanti Guniki, he says, without a guru, you cannot accomplish anything. Various charitrams of his tell us that Narada Muni comes to him as his guru and gives him the Swararnavam text from where he receives all of the Swara Sahityam, the Swara Jnanam, and that's what he embeds into his compositions. But Tyagaraja Swami is probably one of the few composers who has many compositions on the idea of a guru as opposed to a literal guru. Mutswami Dikshitar has compositions on Dakshinamurti, and you will see other such references to direct physical gurus. But with reference to the concept of a guru, Tyagaraja Swami pays heavy importance to that idea. We can take one last question if
Mine
at all
is not a question, it's an observation.
Sure, ma'am.
I have interacted with a lot of musicians, learned from Dwaram Venkat Swami Naidu in Vijayanagaram, and a lot of compositions. Now, of course, I am 90 years old, I can't sing. But today, I really want to say my appreciation, because I know the compositions, I know the ragas, but you brought out something that I never dreamt of in my life. Thank you very much. This is not a question, but a elderly lady's observation.
Thank you for that blessing.
I knew Arya Kudi stayed in my house. MLV stayed. Maharajapuram Vishwanath Iyer was with us. I have heard all of them. But this essence, the way you have brought it out about Tyagaraja, this is something incredible. I didn't think of it that way. Thank you very much. God bless you, children.
Thank you. Thank you for those blessings. With that,